Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's Reddit stories are from ProRevenge. Some like it hot, chili emoji. Reading a recent stolen food PR reminded me, I too have a similar life experience to share. True story. I had taken an R&D internship for a food company over the summer in Keokuk, the armpit of Iowa for those unfamiliar. I'm not sure if I'm saying that city name right. Keokuk. Keokuk. For housing accommodations, the company had set me up in a local college dorm that was previously a retirement home. So it basically had individual rooms and bathrooms, but one large commercial kitchen. It was summer and the school didn't have a summer program, but it allowed 2 fall students to move in at the beginning of the summer. One was rarely there, but the other was constantly in the building and oftentimes had multiple friends over. Given the kitchen setup, we all stored our food there, and it's pretty no-brainer that you shouldn't take from others. But immediately, I had various food items going missing or being consumed regularly, sodas, empty boxes of cereal put back on the shelf, etc. I initially posted a sign in the fridge not to eat others' food and also confronted both about having food go missing after the sign was up, but it didn't stop whomever was stealing my food, particularly when I'd head out of town for weekends. After complaining about the situation to my manager during my job, they helped me formulate the perfect ProRevenge. R&D must be research and development. I wasn't sure at first, but it just struck me that's probably what it is. Given that I was doing research and development work on food products, I was responsible for getting various ingredient samples to use for new recipes. My manager suggested I get some capsaicin extracts for my research, even though we weren't doing anything in that realm for flavor profiles. Well, I found a company that had various Scoville unit extracts, and I asked for a variety to see what would be best for our applications. Well, did they deliver with some small 2-ounce bottles of 50K, 100K, and 250K Scoville extracts. I ended up putting the 250K in a travel-sized spray bottle, mixed with some water to help as a carrier, and wearing gloves and a mask borrowed from work. Doctored the common food items being stolen with a liberal spraying of my mixture, mainly cereal, chips, crackers, jug of milk, in the lip or top of a few soda cans. For the snacks, I actually put some into a separate bag and left them to dry before mixing them back into the original packaging. I did this in a different dorm room in my wing, as I know well enough how potent this can be in enclosed spaces. I did this right before another trip out of town, and when I returned home, I found some of the chips and cereal and milk was missing, plus 2 of the 3 cans of soda I had doctored. I never got to see the result, and no one ever said anything, but none of my food went missing for the remaining month of my stay. I hope the experience was enlightening for them, and they still remember the time they played with fire. They have a little fire emoji, but right before that they have a little chili pepper again. Chili fire. Play with fire and you get burned? Steal things that don't belong to you and you get burned as well, apparently. This story is just great. Food thieves are the worst, and there's actually another story coming up that is with a food thief again. But it reminds me of something amusing if you guys haven't seen it. There's a receipt that went viral online. This guy in Florida had regularly been going to this food vendor called Hawker's Asian Street Fare. And whenever he ordered his pad thai, he asked for extra spicy. And one day he came to them and said, it was not spicy enough. This was not hot. I would really like it extra spicy. And so the person taking his order printed 17 times, make it spicy, make it spicy. Down at the very bottom of the receipt in caps, it says, make him regret, special prep, being born, special prep. It's hilarious. If you guys get a chance to check it out, just make sure you Google, make it spicy, make it spicy, make it spicy, make him regret being born, and look at the images, because it's the first thing that comes up. It's a riot. Some people can handle spicy foods. I am not one of those people. I like buffalo wings, that's it, but not super spicy buffalo wings, and nothing that makes you break down and cry. I have a habit of watching that YouTube channel, I believe it's called Hot Ones, where this guy does an interview with famous people like Gordon Ramsay, and they had NSYNC on the other day, and they were pouring hot sauce on these chicken wings. And the one guy who obviously couldn't handle hot food was like, is it over yet? Is it over yet? Please, please let this be the last one. I don't do super hot things. Why would you want to be in pain when you're eating? Our next story, again, is a food thief. It's posted by Wild Billy Redneck. Lunch thieves just dessert. Years ago, I had a lunch thief. About the 12th time complaining to HR about people stealing my lunch, mandatory reporting every 3rd or 4th instance, I was seething. Not a darn thing was being done, and I still had to go buy something to eat. I was complaining to my doctor at the yearly checkup, and he got a smile saying, "You're constipated then?" I was dumb and said, "No, why?" He wrote me a prescription for some holy F laxative with instructions to mix it in your meal for maximum effect, at which point I knew the plan. I wish I could say they pooed their pants, but no, they ate my sandwich with special avocado sauce. About an hour after lunch, I went to HR and reported 2 things. 1, my lunch was stolen again, and 2, my medication was stolen. HR: so you got hit by the lunch thief again and your medicine was in the bag? Me: yes, I have some digestive problems and my doctor prescribed a powerful laxative and advised me to mix it in with my meal midday. HR going white: you what? Me smiling: I mixed in a prescription-grade laxative with my food per my doctor's orders. Well, being that stealing prescribed medication is a criminal offense, the police were called and found the lead man from department over, absolutely blanking his brains out. He was furious and accused me of poisoning his food. I asked, "At which point did you get the idea that the food was yours?" Continued, "Furthermore, now I no longer have my medication I was prescribed for my condition." It was about this time he knew he effed up, and he shut his mouth until he got a lawyer, or so I'm told, small town. One of my buddies from high school took his position. I can make and eat my hoagies, and I have no clue where Lunch Thief went after his fines and community service. You have to be a special kind of someone to say, "You poisoned my food," when you know very well you've been stealing somebody's lunch for a while. You 100% know it. I don't understand why people steal. I can't fathom what goes through their head. Do they see a fridge full of food and they're just like, "Oh, that's put in there by the business for us to eat"? It's not brought from home for personal consumption, but the people who put like labels on their food and stuff and say, "This is mine, please don't eat it," and then somebody still eats it, that's crazy to me. It's like they're doing it maliciously. Our next story is by Spiffy Dude 98. I was fired early in my career by a team of 2 senior people I reported to. Revenge came in time. Edit below for clarification. When I was in my early 20s trying to make it in the world and just starting out, I reported to a senior sales team as a junior salesperson. Really, it was a support role and I knew my place. Watch, stay quiet, learn, and help them. I report to a lady who was mid-level and the senior guy who was head of sales. I was green, and while I was seeking mentorship and periodically asking for advice to improve how I was able to support them, they mistook it for incompetence. It was simple things like learning which format each of them preferred their daily reports in, and tasks they had to do. I also had an issue because the senior guy basically stole my first bonus at the 3-month mark. It was a tiny amount to him, but a lot for young me. I didn't officially complain, but asked him how he was able to keep my bonus when it was obvious it tracked back to my efforts on the data. He didn't like that and didn't pay me. I was doing a good job. I'm fully aware of my skills. But with the explanation, "It's just not working out," they fired me a few weeks later. I spent a couple months trying to get a new job, which turned out to be an amazing, smaller firm where I was appreciated, mentored correctly, and thrived. The new firm was very successful. This is in parentheses and in bold. I think it's just a detail they forgot. They brought me into a room, the 2 of them, and fired me. She was the only one who said it's just not working out. He said, "So we're letting you go." Even to my question as to why, since from the beginning I had been doing well. About 2 years later, after I'd become a vital, still but junior part of the smaller company, my former firm closed up in the region and put everyone out of work. So I saw through the glass while walking by the boardroom one day that the senior guy who stole my bonus was being interviewed for a job at my current firm. My current superiors didn't see me walk by, but my old boss and I made eye contact. Now, in a small sales team at a small firm, it's important to have a nice working relationship and trust. It's also a lot of selfish salespeople who are there to make money and don't like being ripped off. So later that afternoon, I quietly mentioned to the one boss, "I saw X in the office when I walked by. I used to work for him, and that a-hole stole my bonus one time." It was all I needed to say, because the last thing my current boss needed was a person who'd do that on our team. Then, times got tough, and I know that man spent 2 years looking for work. 6 or 7 years later, I was in a new company in a more senior role, and the one lady who I originally reported to called me and was selling at a new firm, and she was calling to ask if I'd be interested in purchasing from her. I didn't know she had started working there. The firm she was with was selling something that was very basic and interchangeable to competing firms. She'd gone from selling important things to selling a nothing product after the original firm closed. She acted all happy and nice to me and recalled the great job I did when we worked together. I also know she didn't want to be talking to me, but her call log said she had to call. I told her thanks and send me along an official quote and proposal, several hours of work for her. In the industry we were in, she was paid not only on new sales, but a net sales measurement, meaning she had to retain clients as well and bring in new ones. I had a lot of commitment at the firm she was now at. While she spent her afternoon drafting a proposal, I spent a couple hours pulling all my business from that company and subbing it for a competitor up the street. She emailed me a full proposal and mentioned she was excited to be working with me again and supporting my business. She had no idea yet that I'd just pulled everything and she would never receive a bonus this year because of the size of the amount that I pulled. The next day, she emailed me, quite upset, and had CC'd her boss who I've known for years and had a good working relationship with. I replied to all and thanked her and said I'd decided to go with a competitor because it just won't work out as I find your approach to business dealings to be insincere. Her boss emailed me back directly and asked what happened, and I replied that I just don't think she's a sincere person. My business to their firm was worth more than her job, and she didn't last more than a month there after that. ProRevenge over time. That doesn't happen too often. The situation has to be just right. Everybody has to be in the same field and always going for the same kind of job. But that's pretty amazing ProRevenge right there. Down in the comments by Driftless Hang. I thought this was petty through the first part, but holy crap, you torpedoed that woman's career. I guess the lesson learned is to treat people nicely regardless of age or experience because they could eventually be in a position to destroy you just for fun. Underneath that is a phrase that someone said that just made me laugh out loud. By Brother Mort. Heard this saying the other day. The toes you step on today may be connected to the foot that kicks your butt tomorrow. And it fits here perfectly. Our stories for today have come to a close. Until we meet again, have an experienced day.